Hello, everyone. How are we? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic Friday wherever we are around the world, and welcome back to the Club Council. Hopefully, all of you are good and well wherever we are around the world. And like I said, welcome back to another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. Of course, we're going to be talking about Hugo Ekitike. Again, that is the hot gossip at the moment. With of course, at the present moment in time, Liverpool have submitted an official bid, but of course, it has been rejected, and we are currently waiting to hear about a second bid being put through to Liverpool, and we'll discuss all that in due course as well. We'll also discuss Luis Díaz, of course, to Bayern Munich. That looks like that's going to be one, I think, that could be wrapped up or could be in the conversation for the next couple of weeks. Of course, again, Lucho has apparently told Liverpool he wants to leave Liverpool already. So again, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. We'll also discuss about Rodrygo as well. There's been a bit of news tonight regarding him and Real Madrid. And we will also discuss Harvey Elliott to West Ham United, potentially, at least anyway. There has been a bit of gossip and news around Harvey anyway, but we will kickstart the show talking about Luis Díaz. Again, we'll get into that in due course, but thank you, Cal, for reminding me. I was 3 minutes late. I was, but look, you don't have to say that, really. Pick up Cal, hope you're doing well. Pick up QT as well, saying smash the likes and subs on the way in as well. Yeah, if you could. If you are new around here, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Of course, we do have more content coming up. Of course, I did say there would be a little bit of a different video today. That will be tomorrow. It will be out tomorrow afternoonish. So make sure you are staying tuned, and make sure you do have the notification bell on. I think you have to put it on all to get notified. Again, sometimes YouTube don't do it, but again, we will try at least anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below. Big up Martin as well, saying Díaz can't agree until we agree his sale. Or can he? We will dive into that right now. Again, it's a great segue, to be fair, to discuss Luis Díaz. Now, according to Florian Plintenberg, as you guys will already know Florian Plintenberg already, because again, we've spoken about him so many times already this summer. Now, he's come out and said that Luis Díaz has not only informed Liverpool of his desire to leave, but he has now also made it clear to Liverpool that he would like to join FC Bayern if possible. The transfer is approved by Vincent Kompany. It does go on to say, yet there is no full agreement between Bayern and Díaz yet. However, personal terms are not an issue, with a potential contract running until at least 2029. It is now up to Bayern to reach a full agreement with Liverpool. If not, Díaz could still join another club. Barcelona remain interested, but would currently be unable to register him. And again, that's the big one in terms of other clubs being interested. But I think that phrasing, in my honest opinion, I think that is truly telling. The fact he has told Liverpool already that he wants FC Bayern, if, of course, this is report true. Because, again, with Plintenberg, you do have to take it with a pinch of salt. Now, the one thing I will also say to this is I do think Liverpool, even though Liverpool have said, look, he is not for sale, we don't want to sell Luis Díaz, I think that is what Liverpool truly want. They don't want to get rid of Lucho. But I think if there is a price point that is met in terms of anywhere near the €100 million valuation, which is around, what, £85 million, if there is anything in that or anywhere that gets close to that, I do think Liverpool would consider it. I really do. I think for a player that is around, what, 28, again, he'll go on to, I think, 27, 28, I think Lucho is, as time of recording. We know for a fact that Liverpool love Luis Díaz. Arne Slot loves Luis Díaz and the way he plays for Liverpool. But in my honest opinion, and truly honest opinion, I think Liverpool, more so Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, think they can upgrade upon him. Now, whether or not they do go on to, again, look for a certain player that they want in terms of data-wise, I think that's another question in itself. But for me, honestly, I do think Liverpool could potentially agree a fee to let him go. And again, what would that price tag be? Of course, there's reports that Bayern Munich want Luis Díaz desperately. They think he is the perfect player for their system. And with that being said, if that is the case, how much they are willing to go up to. I think Liverpool, of course, can ask that question. Will there be a certain price point that Bayern Munich go up to and they go, okay, we're going to walk away from this because we've got other transfer targets? That could very well be a possibility. I don't think that's out of the question marks. But I think as of things right now, if Bayern Munich were to get in, anywhere near that £85 million price point that Liverpool have put on Luis Diaz, let's say Liverpool get an offer of 75 million for Luis Diaz, I think Liverpool bite their hand off for that. I really do. I think even if 70, if they get that much for him, I do think they would accept it. I think that's the type of price point we are looking around Luis Diaz and thinking, okay, that's the price point we want to sell upon, to let him go to, let's be honest, a European rival. Again, anyone that can win the Champions League is a European rival. Let's be perfectly honest. And I do think Liverpool would kind of go with that price. I don't know about you guys in the comments. I think Florian Plintenberg again he's brought up so many tweets today about Luis Diaz, and of course the interest there from Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich themselves are wanting 2 or 3 other players as well, because again I think it's also been reported that not only Luis Diaz, of course, they want the striker from Stuttgart. At the present moment in time, I think they've bid around 65 million euros for him, and they currently can't get a deal there for him as well. So, of course, Bayern Munich are getting frustrated at the present moment in time, but I think they will have to put a monster bid for either one of them, and whether or not Bayern Munich think, oh, we're going to go after one and not the two of them. Personally, I think Liverpool would reach a certain point where, again, Liverpool will become frustrated because, again, if we are going to let go of Luis Diaz, we want to get a replacement in. Who that replacement is, of course, we'll discuss in a moment. But for me, I think if anyway the price point gets met, I think Liverpool would bite at it, in my honest opinion, because I'm just looking at another post from him now, as you guys can see on screen, where he said that, in terms of SC Bayern are continuing to push to sign Luis Diaz. Negotiations and talks with Liverpool and the players' camp are ongoing. As revealed, Diaz can sign a Bayern contract running until at least 2029. The deal is still possible. So even still, they're not giving him a 5-year contract. They're only giving him 4 years. And again, whether or not that's a 3-year plus 1 year, I think that's also interesting. But that's the type of contract that Liverpool clearly don't want to give for Luis Diaz. And I think with that being said, Liverpool don't want to give Lucho a 4-year plus contract, because again, he's going to be around that age then where resale value, there's not going to be any there unless you sell him to the Saudi Pro League. Or again, when we talk about performance, Lucho could drop off a little bit, because again, like we've seen with Sadio Mane, once Sadio's performances at left wing was kind of dipping a little bit, we moved him to the centre forward role. And in his last 6 months at Liverpool, he was excellent. Would Liverpool do that now? Of course, with potentially bringing in Ekitike and anyone else in that position. I think that's another question in itself, personally. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments, of course. But Martin says Diaz can't agree. I already read that one out, apologies. This deal will be done, I'd say around 75 mil. I would agree. I think 75 million, 70 to 75. I think that's the price point. I think that Liverpool trigger it and accept the fact they're losing Luis Diaz, in my honest opinion. Diaz is good. Fans should remember that, but compare him to Mane, and he's miles off as well. True. Again, I think Sadio Mane, in his peak, was, again, probably one of Liverpool's best players ever on that side. But yeah, no, I think Luis Diaz, he's fantastic for what he does. But this is what we've said. If Luis Diaz could finish for Liverpool, if he could produce the goals with his play style and his work rate as well, he would be a £200 million player easily. In my honest opinion, he would easily become that. But that's the problem. And we've seen it. All right, last season we didn't see it so much, but we've seen it in other years and other seasons where Lucho's missed an odd chance or two that could have potentially won Liverpool a league title or something like that, if you get what I mean. So I think, in my honest opinion, I think the data team and Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, I think they believe they can upgrade upon that position, because that report that came out, I want to say on Tuesday, that came out about Liverpool want to have in the front three two, of course they want the best in class in all three positions, but they want world class, the best player in each position, or two of the three positions. Now, of course, with us, obviously we were looking at signing Alexander Isak. Isak for me is the second best striker in the world, behind Erling Haaland. Potentially even could be better than Haaland in some circumstances. But I think now, with us signing Ekitike, who has the potential to become even better than what Alexander Isak is at the moment in his all-round game, I think Liverpool are looking at that left wing spot and going, we could upgrade here, while also having Cody Gakpo, who's very, very good. I also look at it and go, Liverpool could think and go, well, if we bring a certain someone in, they could then flourish under Arne Slot with the likes of Mo Salah, Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, Gravenberch, McAllister, Kirkes, Frimpong. Again, it's exciting, this Liverpool team. It really, really is. Díaz is good. I read them out. Apologies. I'm not feeling as good about the window as an overall as I did a few weeks ago. Why? QT. Let me know. But what else do we have? I love Díaz for his work rate, but his end product is poor. Wirtz will sort that out, hopefully. Again, Florian Wirtz should add 15 goals to that position, to the midfield, really. 10-15 goals. But in terms of obviously scoring and creating, big up Con as well, big up Phil. Hope you're doing well. To be honest, Wirtz is go. Wirtz is go, but some of our fan base think he's playing everywhere. We need more star signings. Look, I don't think we need to go crazy. Don't get me wrong. I think Liverpool will make 3 more signings. Of course, at the moment we haven't signed Hugo Ekitike. Liverpool, in my opinion, will make 3 more. I think we sign Ekitike. I think we sign a left winger, and I think we get our centre back, and that will be Liverpool done for the window. And look, don't get me wrong. Florian Wirtz can play on the left, but Liverpool have not bought him to play on the left. We have played him to play as a 10. Look, don't get me wrong. Florian Wirtz won't play every single game week in, week out. Of course, he will rotate with Dominic Szoboszlai or whoever Arne Slot thinks. But Florian Wirtz can play on the left, but he won't play every single game on the left. He will play the majority at the 10, guaranteed. And we'll see that hopefully next weekend against AC Milan. Hopefully, anyway. But if we lose Díaz, Núñez, and Jota, we short, so it would be Ekitike and 1 more, perhaps Rodrygo. Absolutely. We'll get on to him in a moment. But what do we have? QT says, my point being, we have improved the midfield and defense, but pointless in doing that by leaving up front short. I don't think up front is really short, because look, Liverpool will get a replacement in for Luis Díaz, and striker, it's a big question whether or not Liverpool might trust the people at the club already. You've got Jadon Danns, who can be there as a striker. Of course, it is a bit risky doing that. Whether or not Liverpool look at someone else as well that's potentially available, again, if there's anybody that Arne Slot thinks that they can get on, not so much the cheap, but of course that can add quality to the squad, and also be that player that can again is comfortable being on the bench, because again, if we're going to go and spend 70 odd million pounds on Hugo Ekitike, of course Liverpool don't want to be spending, let's say, 50 million on a backup then. That would be pretty stupid. So I think Liverpool will look and assess the market again, depending on other situations. And players leaving or going, again, I think Liverpool could potentially bring in another replacement or, a backup if the market is right. Anyway, but remember, Bayern missed out on Wirtz, so they know they are desperate. Well, they've missed out. I think it's a true competition at the moment, isn't it? Who's missed out on the top targets? Is it Newcastle or is it Bayern Munich? At the minute, they are equal at the present moment in time. So, with that being said, I think both of them is quite interesting, isn't it? But Martin says Liverpool say Díaz is not for sale at any price, then accept 75 mil. Just watch. Well, they have put a price on him, haven't they? They've said 100 million, 100 million euros, which is about 85 million pounds. So, yeah, 100%. If there's a bid, 75 million. 100% Liverpool, I think, would accept it. But again, we'd have to wait and see. Mikichi says only Rod can put this window back on the right road. Only Rod. Who's only Rod? Compare anyone to Mane, it's not good. I really like Díaz. Don't get me wrong as well. No, again, Sadio Mane was unbelievable for Liverpool. It does frustrate me the way he did leave the club. Yes, of course. If Liverpool had won the Champions League, obviously, obviously we were going for the quadruple at the time. If Liverpool did win everything, then I could have 100% accepted him leaving. I just felt like Sadio Mane, in my honest opinion, could have stayed at the football club. But again, we knew for a fact that Sadio was going after that Champions League final, or even before it, well before it, everyone knew that he was going. So, yeah. I will sum it up. Best view, Liverpool are top of the tree, and all the clubs fear us. I couldn't be happier with this as well. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, everyone's going to be trying their best against this next season. But when you look at that team, and even thinking about it, thinking about the front three of Gakpo, Ekitike, Salah, and then behind them you've got McAllister, Wirtz, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones. Even defense, Frimpong, Kirkes, adding plenty more in attack. Van Dijk, Ali, Ibu, it's scary. Agree, Gakpo is good, but he's not a top player. I would disagree with that in some sense. He is a top player. Again, don't forget he was Liverpool's second top goals and assist maker last season. He was. Look, I'm not too wasn't to saying this. When Gakpo was out for that period of time, we lacked something. Really. Again, Mo Salah was kind of having a dip as well, even in an unbelievable season. Don't get me wrong. But no, I rate Cody Gakpo very, very highly. But I think the club do as well. I think the club think of Gakpo as a very high player. But again, can Liverpool also add quality to rival Gakpo? Absolutely. I think so, 100%. Talia Albin, does Hugo get 7 on the 9 shirt? I don't really know. Number 7 shirt, if a certain somebody comes into the football club, I think they take that shirt. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, number 9, I don't know. Because again, whether or not the club think differently to this, I think the number 9 shirt, again, we all thought Darwin Núñez was, would have succeeded in that shirt. I think to put Ekitike in the 9 straight away, again, Ekitike might want that straight away, but I look at it and go, well, Liverpool might potentially want him to, for example, there, I think Ekitike will be 29, 27 is also available, 23 as well, I think is also available. So there's plenty of numbers for sure, but Gakpo can be top quality. Hasn't been given a chance to show it at his best. I think he has. I think he has shown. I think he's definitely showed signs of it, hasn't he? Of top quality. But unfortunately, he got injured at the wrong time, didn't he? To really show it. But evening, everything, anything new today? Well, cute hero. Hopefully you're doing well. And yeah, no, I think you commented that a couple of minutes ago. So yeah, Luis Diaz news basically. Just reading the title. Geez, it's bye time for Diaz. Then it looks like that at the moment. But again, nothing will really change unless that Bayern Munich bid comes in. At the present moment in time. Again, every Liverpool journal and everyone speaking around the situation is saying pretty much the same thing of unless Luis Diaz leaves, there will be no action really on the left-hand side. Liverpool are comfortable where they are with having Gakpo and having Luis Diaz a part of that. But let's be perfectly honest, by the way, if I do wonder if that Anthony Gordon deal had gone through last season, whether or not Lucho would have been sold last season, or whether or not, again, we would have kept all three if we'd kept Gordon, Diaz, and Gakpo. And of course, throughout the season, we 100% moved Diaz to the centre, whether or not that would have become obviously a more regular thing. But I'd be really intrigued to see how that would have happened last season if we did sign Gordon. But again, the club have been aware that Lucho isn't happy with his current situation. The club are also aware, obviously, that they're not going to give him a new contract. So of course, he's going to look for a different aspect of things, because there's different reports going around as well that Diaz knows, of course, that Bayern Munich are going to give him around £200,000 per week. Are Liverpool going to do that? No, we're not. I think it would be below that, because, of course, obviously on all the websites where you look at the wages per week, for example, on all of them it says Lucho's on about £55,000 per week. Now, we know that for a fact isn't true. I think it's either James Pearce, David Ornstein, or David Lynch mentioned that he is on £140,000 per week. So again, Liverpool are pretty comfortable with that. They don't want to sell him, and that's the conversation around it. And again, they don't want to offer him a new contract because they don't want to extend it then, really. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Rodrygo. Oh, there we go. Apologies, QT. But QT said we could end up with Ekitike and Gordon. Lol. After we all hoped for Isaac and Rodrygo, that's not only a step down, but also a step down from last year. I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say it's a step down. With Lucho, if we get Gordon, yeah, I would agree. If we get Rodrygo, I think that is an upgrade potentially. Even though, again, like I said, when I have watched Real Madrid, I've never watched a game where Rodrygo has a good game. And again, I speak to people all the time that say like, "Oh, Rodrygo is, he is the quality player Liverpool need to go out and get." But I don't know. For me, I just don't see it, and yeah, I don't think Gordon's better than Luis Diaz personally. But yeah, that's just my opinion. I think this window started off good and is probably going to end badly. I don't think so. I think this window's been really, really good for Liverpool. Again, can it be better? Of course, Liverpool get a centre half in. If also Liverpool get Ibou Konaté to sign his new freaking contract, that would be brilliant as well. So, it'll be an interesting one, won't it? Rodrygo will not happen. Real will go to another club before us, as we are their biggest European rival, always will be. True, but then they've ended up robbing players off of us. So yeah, either one. I personally have never, like I said, I've never watched a game where Rodrygo has, I've been like, wow, what a game by Rodrygo. But again, what the hell do we know? Then that's the thing. If Michael Edwards, we know Michael Edwards has loved Rodrygo for a very, very long time. If the data people think he's the right guy, then I'm all for that. Because again, in my honest opinion, you guys will know if you're long-time watchers, I said about Hugo Ekitike. If Liverpool can't get Alexander Isak, go and get Hugo Ekitike. He's the closest profile to him. Go and get him. And Liverpool are going to go and get him. So, data-wise, makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting thing at the moment, isn't it? With Lucho. But let me get into some of these comments then, because there is a fair bit. If you are new around here, of course, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Excuse me, or play Nguma. Yeah, well, we will do in the future, absolutely. Bit of Daz well saying, but the left wing are loaded compared to the right. Well, if you sign Rodrygo, you cover both. But again, I think Liverpool, will Liverpool look to replace Mo Salah? Or get the early signs of replacing Mo Salah. Again, there will be somebody on the market that could be available in 2 years' time that I think Liverpool would look at for sure. But big up, hello Elizabeth, hopefully doing well. Says Rodrygo stays to Madrid and Vinny to Saudi. Well, that got spoken about today, didn't it? Or yesterday? Was it today or yesterday? For me, I think Rodrygo will leave Madrid. Whether or not he, again, desires a Premier League move, that's another question. Vinny to Saudi, I think, could be the answer for Real Madrid. Because you look at that team, watching them in the Club World Cup, they were awful, and they were awful. And I think if Real Madrid can get 350 million euros and then use that money to reinvest in the team that Xabi Alonso thinks is the right players and style, then I think that would be the best possible deal for him. But look, on the Liverpool side of things, if people think at the club that Rodrygo is the guy, then again I'm all for it, in my honest opinion. But again, that's just my thoughts. But let's move on then quickly. I will get into everyone's comments, don't worry. But I do want to quickly and because we have spoken about him obviously right now, and again I want to talk to you guys more about Rodrygo, because again, of course, we know for a fact Liverpool are potentially interested in signing Rodrygo from Real Madrid. That is somebody that, again, in my honest opinion, like I said, if the data team thinks he's the right guy and they think, look, he is the guy to take us forward and obviously move us on, then I'm all for it, and I am all for it. But we know for a fact, this was a report earlier on claiming that Rodrygo is one of the names more likely to depart Real Madrid, who hopes for a fresh start under new boss Xabi Alonso. Already look under threat after his obviously part role at the Club World Cup. And Alex Crook as well, again, take it with a slight pinch of salt. But Alex Crook has turned around and said that if Liverpool were to sell Luis Díaz this summer, he expects Liverpool to ramp up their interest in Rodrygo. Now, the one thing I would also say about Rodrygo is how much is he likely to cost Liverpool? I think Liverpool, with the price point we spoke about in terms of already about selling Luis Díaz for about £70 million, I think that's the exact price you get Rodrygo for. I think Madrid would want to sell for a price around that point. Again, how old is Rodrygo? I think he's 24. So again, in terms of the FSG model, in terms of what they want in a player for the age, again, plenty of experience in that bracket as well. So I do think on paper, it makes a lot of sense to go out and get Rodrygo if he is available. But the one thing I would say is if Liverpool lose Luis Díaz and Rodrygo isn't available, then who do Liverpool go out and get? Because look, my number, I've said it like plenty of times. I would personally like Liverpool to go out and potentially look at Bradley Barcola from PSG if he's available. But that's another player who could very well become, simply unavailable because PSG at the minute are looking to tie him down. But with of course, the front three at PSG at the moment being Desiree Doué, obviously Kvaratskhelia and Ousmane Dembele, then at the moment he isn't getting into the team, but he is the first name coming off the bench. Now, for certain games throughout the season, of course, he's going to be starting the odd game now and again, but is he going to be, the main starter at PSG? I'm not so sure. I'm really not. Of course, at the present moment in time, Desiree Doué is unbelievable. I personally think as well, Liverpool should have done everything to get Kvaratskhelia in January. But again, we kind of missed the ball with that one, because I think Liverpool were kind of, iffy about selling Darwin Núñez as well. So, look, I think there are some options out there. I do on the left wing market, but don't get me wrong. If it's Anthony Gordon, I don't want it. I'm not going to lie. 12 months ago, I know people will go back and look at shows from us 12 months ago. 12 months ago, I would have took Anthony Gordon, but he's had the season this year where he's played a lot of football. Don't get us wrong. It's not like if Anthony Gordon hasn't played any football for Newcastle and hasn't performed. Of course, last season he did have to shift a little bit because, again, at the time, in my honest opinion, I think that Harvey Barnes was outperforming him at times. And again, they were moving Gordon to the right-hand side, but he didn't hit the numbers of what he did previously. He didn't hit it at a top six, didn't hit it where, against top six teams, he wasn't scoring or assisting. And in my honest opinion, I think Gordon did underperform last season compared to what he did in previous seasons as well, because he was on an upward trajectory and then went slowly down. So, in my honest opinion, I think Anthony Gordon, I wouldn't be for it. Rodrygo, Barcola, I'd be for it, I would. But again, because I think with Rodrygo, like I said, personally, I haven't seen a good game of his, but I'd like to be proven wrong. Again, and I've said this plenty of times on the channel. If you guys are long-term viewers, I've said it. I was confused at the time, years ago, when Liverpool signed Gini Wijnaldum. Didn't really get that signing, and then was absolutely glad with him. Loved Gini Wijnaldum at his time at Liverpool. Felt at the time we shouldn't have got rid of Gini Wijnaldum either. But look, that's the type of signings you'd love, really, where you love to be proven wrong or love to think you're wrong as well, because if they become amazing, then again, great, because again, it benefits the football club, which is great anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments about Rodrygo. What else do we have? Do you think Hugo's deal will be done before Sunday? No, unfortunately not. I don't think so, personally. Fair enough, CJ, as well. Gordon is shocking, says CJ. A big up Owen as well, who's doing well, saying Rodrygo isn't great, says Owen. CJ says, finally somebody agrees Rodrygo is rated because of PR and nobody has actually seen him play on the left consistently, but say he's better on the left. I've seen a few people say that he is... I think when you look at go on to transfer market and look how many games he's played on the left, he has played quite a few times for Real Madrid on the left. And I think that, again, he's never been given that opportunity, has he, really, to really thrive in that position? Because, again, you've got Vinny Jr., now you've got Kylian Mbappe. Again, he's not going to get it, on that side completely. But I think the one thing that's also good for Rodrygo is he's quite good with both feet as well. I've seen one or two clips of where he's quite good with both feet. I think that obviously for on a slot would be brilliant. Because again, I think the one thing with Lucho, I think last season he did perform better at, but the season before that in Jurgen Klopp's last season, he'd always want to cut inside. Like, he'd never want to take on his man down the wing. And I'm like, that's something that he could have improved on. He did do last season. So look, I think it's interesting. Owen says, do you think we need a midfielder? If so, who? Do we need a midfielder, chat? As of things right now, no. In an ideal world, I would love Liverpool to have a backup for Ryan Gravenberch. I know Wataru Endo is the backup. For anybody shouts at me. Look, Liverpool. I'd love Liverpool to go after Adam Wharton. Personally, I think Adam Wharton would be fantastic in this Liverpool team. I really do. But with me also saying that would cost 60, 70 million pounds easily. Probably a bit more. But I do also say that, mind. I think you look at the midfield as we currently got, in Endo and so on. I think as of things right now, Liverpool don't need to add to the midfield because again, the midfield stack. Don't get us wrong. But I think the players coming through as well. I think Trainioni over the next season or two should be given a massive amount of opportunity. But yeah, there's definitely a few players that if they were to move on, again, Adam Wharton would be one. I've said it, Angelo Stella as well, if we're talking about DMs. But yeah, at the present moment in time, I think it's definitely a toss-up at the minute. But as of things right now, we don't really need to add, in my honest opinion, Owen. But again, let me know your gut, who you think as well, Owen. Because I know plenty of people have different ideas of who Liverpool should bring in as well. So yeah, absolutely, 100%. Díaz is better than Gordon. I rather have Núñez plus Jota at RIP than Ekitike. So it would be already. Look, if Diogo was still here, Diogo would be a part of the first team. There would be nothing about him selling him. Look, Diogo was part of the first team for next season. Absolutely, 100%. Is Ekitike better than Darwin Núñez? I think so. I really do. I think build-up play, I think he'll be a lot better at. Of course, finishing-wise, he can get a bit better because, again, he's only 22. So, yeah, there'll be definitely opinions anyway. But big up Gary as well for doing well. I've seen Gary in the chat. What am I talking about? It says, Talia Owen, dear boy, as well. What else do we have in the chat? Why is my phone vibrating? No reason. Owen says, totally agree, CJ. 11 goals and assists in 31 appearances last season. It's shite, especially in La Liga as well. Yeah, I did see that. That you only got that amount. And I was shocked when I seen it, to be fair. But again, could Rodrygo improve? Possibly. But again, with his age at the moment, it would only be a little bit, wouldn't it? At the minute, but hang on a minute, guys. Let me just quickly scroll down. Yeah, smash the likes and stuff, guys. Well, yeah, if there's people new in you, obviously, please do. Everyone getting nervous. Why look what we've done so far? I trust Edwards and Hughes. Yeah, I do now as well. I didn't last year. I definitely didn't trust Hughes. Michael Edwards, of course, GOAT forever. But no, Richard Hughes has definitely switched her up over the last 6 months for sure. If we get Ekitike, we don't need any other attackers. I would agree with that to some extent, but I do think it depends on the left wing, isn't it? If Liverpool get a versatile forward that again can play on the left and as a striker, I would agree with that. But I don't know. It really depends on what Arne Slot wants. Because we've seen with Jurgen Klopp kept Divock Origi around for quite some years, where I think all of us at the time was like, oh, maybe Liverpool should maybe look to sell on. But to be fair, keeping Divock Origi around made a lot of sense. That season when we went for everything, having players like Divock Origi and like Taki Minamino made us go on to win, in my opinion, the FA Cup and the League Cup, where we were able to bring them in and they were really cup heroes in that sense. Look, don't get us wrong, Divock Origi has brought us so many good memories, but that's the type of player Liverpool currently miss, really, that we can obviously now, sadly with Diogo Jota not here, I think our, best phrase last season at times was, bring Diogo on. And that, I think we do miss currently that player. In my opinion anyway, but look, that's just my thoughts. Mo Vert, Gakpo, Ekitike, Chiesa, and Rio is very good. One more would be nice, but it's not necessary, says Owen. Rodrygo, Ekitike, Salah, I know you mean, but with Wirtz in the 10 will be the front four. That would be a filthy front four. I'm not even gonna lie. What else do we have? Barcola is keeping his options open, but he'll probably stay at PSG because he's happy there. Yeah, and that's the other thing, isn't it? Like, look, don't get us wrong. Barcola, I think at the time as well, I think he turned down, I think he turned down Madrid as well to join PSG. You know, when he joined from, was it Rennes he joined from? Sorry, but again, I'm not too sure. Gonzalo Ramos would be a good buy from PSG. I don't think so. I don't agree with Owen. I'm not gonna lie. I know his underlying numbers look quite decent, but yeah, I'm not too sure. Fofana is a prospect. We need ready players. But I'd like Liverpool to maybe go for Fofana. I think it's another player potentially that we could go for. Absolutely. If we got Isak, I wouldn't have cared who was on the left. Such a pity. He was the game changer. Yeah, but again, I said to you guys though, like I'm not. Like if anybody views Ekitike as a disappointment, I don't think that's the way to look at it personally. I know you're not saying that, QT, at the moment, but look, I said to you guys, if it's Ekitike or if it's Isak, of course, Isak is the dream. Absolutely, he is the undisputed dream. But I'm not disappointed in Liverpool getting Ekitike at all. I'm happy with both. Really, and again, Ekitike has the potential to go on and be like Alexander Isak, or if not better than Alexander Isak, in the future. Because again, when you look at the numbers and you look at the stats, Ekitike at 22 is probably a bit better than what Isak was at 22, and that's it. And again, over the last, I would say, like again, when Isak signed for Newcastle, was Isak the player he was now? No, I think his upward trajectory has really now come under light over the last 18 months, really. Again, last season, he really obviously flourished tremendously well. But I think a bit before that, when we're talking about 18 months worth of football, I think that's, Isak has developed into the player he is known as now. So yeah, look, I think Ekitike could absolutely get to that position, of course, as well. But Fofana would be great, in my opinion, as well. I think he'd be solid, wouldn't he? He could absolutely do a job for us, for sure. We need more cover in DM and centre-back, Wharton and Gahey. Yeah, I like the thought of signing Mark Gahey. I think he's really the one where if Liverpool wanted to, they could, go and splash the cash on him. It just depends really at the moment, isn't it, with Crystal Palace, because at the present moment in time, obviously the whole Europa League and Conference League thing and them getting checked out of the Europa League and demoted to the Conference League, at the moment, of course, they're dealing with that. So how does their valuation of Mark Gahey change? And I think until we know for sure what's going to happen there, I don't think we do end up hearing anything about Mark Gahey. I think Mark Gahey might end up being a move late on the market because of the whole thing going around Crystal Palace at the present moment in time. But again, that's just a thought process. Again, it's not really anything concrete in that, but still, it's just a real question mark then, I think, at the moment. Anyway, but let's move on then. Let's talk then about obviously the main man at the moment getting spoken about, Hugo Ekitike, as you guys will see right now. Anyway, now according to Ben Jacobs, he has come out and said that Liverpool are Actually, I'll get that up for you now. Liverpool are optimistic on reaching an agreement with Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike, having already agreed personal terms with the player. Frankfurt, of course, memorializing negotiations, advanced talks continuing today and potentially over the weekend. Now, the one thing to add about Ekitike is there's a few things, isn't there, concerning Ekitike and Liverpool. Now, Frankfurt tomorrow night do play they do end up playing. I'm not sure who they do play, but they have a preseason game tomorrow, and then they fly out to the USA on the same day, I believe, as what Liverpool do, fly out to Hong Kong. So what happens in that situation, I'm not too sure. Of course, Liverpool, I think, obviously would like to get the deal done, hopefully tonight, if there's some ways around there. But of course, Liverpool do not want him playing that game tomorrow, if possible. Now, whether or not Liverpool get that deal done over the weekend, I'm not too sure. Look, in an ideal world, Liverpool would very much love to get Ekitike done tonight. Like I said, I think Liverpool don't want him playing tomorrow. They don't want him going and flying on Frankfurt's tour as well. So with that being said, it would have to take, a bid getting accepted over the next 24 hours to realistically get him to come to Liverpool to have a medical and then fly out then to Hong Kong, which will be pretty late then really to fly out. But and again, according to Sky Sports as well, again, take this with a bit of salt. Of course, they have come out and said that. If I can quickly find the report. Hang on a minute. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. It's not Sky Sports, sorry, it's Bild, saying that Hugo Ekitike's move to Liverpool is becoming more and more likely. The clubs are already moving within a framework that makes an agreement very likely. The important offer from Liverpool is expected in the near future. Talks between Liverpool and Frankfurt are intense. Everyone assumes the deal will happen, even if it takes some time to clarify all details. It is currently planned that Hugo Ekitike will feature in the preseason friendly tomorrow and the preseason tour of the United States. So with that being said, like I just said, Liverpool don't want that to happen. But as of what Frankfurt think at the moment, he will be a part of their preseason plans as well at the present moment in time. So again, that's not great on the Liverpool side of things, but I think, look, Liverpool would want to get this done ASAP. Of course they will. I think, as Gary said, but there's already a 6-year contract, 6-year deal. I was going to say 6-year contract, a 6-year deal done. We know this for a fact. It is, personal terms are not a problem. Liverpool know for a fact that, again, they have the agreement there with the player already. But at the present moment in time, in terms of a deal getting done, in terms of how much, I think that at the present moment in time is the sticky situation. Now, Sky Sports, this is the Sky Sports part. So according to Sky Sports, again, take with a pinch of salt, is that a deal is not close yet. However, Liverpool are discussing a £75 million package deal as talks are progressing well. Ekitike is a deal they can do regardless of who stays and who leaves Liverpool this summer. So I think that wording is quite interesting. When we talked about, and I think many Liverpool reporters have reported that Liverpool won't sell, or Liverpool won't buy, Ekitike unless they sell Darwin Núñez first. Now, I think plenty of people have been a bit surprised of how, again, Liverpool have moved. Obviously, it comes down to Newcastle going after Ekitike. But in my honest opinion, is there some world where Liverpool keep hold of Darwin Núñez for one more season? I don't think so. I think Liverpool will sell Darwin. I think he'll go to the Saudi Pro League again. But again, there is the potential there to maybe figure out what's going to happen over the next couple of days. But again, that from Sky Sports claiming there's a £75 million package, and that's what Liverpool are discussing at the moment regarding Hugo Ekitike. Because they did go on to also say that the thing that Arne Slot likes about Ekitike is his versatility to play in multiple positions, which of course he can play on the left and he can play as a striker. Which again, I'm not having the people saying like, oh, we could go and sign this person. Like, no, like Ekitike will be Liverpool's number 9. But again, his versatility in the way he plays and he's able to play will help Liverpool massively as well. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts, of course, down in the comment section down below anyway. But look, I think it's a very interesting point, isn't it, at the moment, and what is happening. Anyway, has there been anything on Alexander Isak as well? Hang on a minute, chat, because of course there's talks about Isak going to Saudi, isn't there, at the moment? But hang on a minute. Any thought process that Liverpool were trying to unsettle Newcastle? It's completely false. Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, Eddie Howe are close friends. It was genuine conversation. Newcastle said not for sale. Oh, there we go. Just Sky Sports confirming that again. Newcastle told Liverpool not for sale for Isak as well anyway. But let's get into your guys' comments. CJ saying, yeah, absolutely. Ekitike was my first choice as Gary as well. Well, I know he was for sure. When we next play on the 26th, I'm going to say yes to you. I'm going to double check right now. Hang on a minute. Yeah, we play Milan on the 26th. It is 12:30 on next Saturday, basically. So a week tomorrow, we play AC Milan. But he will get a 6-year deal. Yes, he will. Absolutely. If Ekitike was to get injured, don't wish that, QT. Touch wood. But yeah, well, that's what Liverpool don't want anyway. Can't wait to see Flo play as well. Yeah, same. Just seeing the inside training videos and watching him, it's like there's going to be a few special moments with Florian Wirtz in this Liverpool team for sure. Anyway, but before we do shoot off for tonight, I want to quickly talk about Harvey Elliott as well. Now, there's been reports coming out from West Ham that they are interested in Harvey Elliott and also Tyler Morton. Now, the funniest thing, the few reports that I did see claimed that West Ham want to do a deal around 55 million for both Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but surely Harvey's are worth around 50 million pounds by himself, or 40 to 50 million pounds. Again, Tyler Morton, you are probably looking around 10, 15 million. I think you are looking more 10, but 55 million for both Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton, chat. For me, look, is West Ham a good fit for Harvey? Look, I've said to you guys, I think a team like Brighton would be really, really good for Harvey. I've also said Villa at the past as well, considering the fact that there's rumours of Morgan Rogers going to Chelsea. I think a team like Villa would be perfect for him. But look, at the present moment in time, it looks like West Ham are the only club in the conversation at the minute for Harvey Elliott, whether or not they do advance from it. But the reports at the minute are saying that at the present moment in time, it looks like it's going to be Harvey interested as well. Yep, Leipzig are also interested. But the Leipzig one, I would also say to that, the Leipzig interest is only if they lose Xavi Simons. Now, Xavi Simons looks like he's going to leave Leipzig. But again, you look at the teams where he could go. I think if Arsenal don't get Eze, and of course, I don't think they're going to get Rodrygo either. But if they don't get Eze, I think they go after Xavi Simons, and then maybe Leipzig go after Harvey Elliott. But the one thing I would also say to that is, I personally don't think Harvey wants to go to the Bundesliga. We know this for a fact in terms of you look at Harvey Elliott and the whole Bayer Leverkusen conversations. He didn't want that and that type of deal. So to be fair, I think Premier League move is guaranteed for Harvey. But still, I don't know whether or not Liverpool again would drop the valuation, but I think at the moment they want 50 million pounds for him. And again, West Ham being interested, I'm not too sure. Of course, if they lose Lucas Paqueta, which again, I don't know whether or not if that betting scandal for Lucas Paqueta is still in the conversation. But if they were to lose Paqueta, then of course they'll need to find a replacement. And again, 50 million pounds for Harvey Elliott, I think would be pretty decent for him as well. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. But Rio looked good on inside training. Yeah, he did. Again, they can release the footage now because Trent's not there. But yeah, look, I thought it was set at 75 mil a few days ago. Who says for Harvey? No, we're not getting 75 mil for Harvey. But no, 55 million was West Ham reporters speaking about a deal potentially getting done for both of them. So whether or not that does happen, I'm not too sure. But CJ says, mods, you on K-Mac's channel after this? I've never been on his channel before, says QT. Again, I'm not sure. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts anyway down in the comments. If you are new, of course, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Like we said, if there's any news on him, by the way, if there's any news about Hugo Ekitike, we'll be live straight for it anyway. I don't think, I'm going to double check now if there is any more news regarding him anyway. But I think as of things right now, it's just a waiting game at the minute to get the fee agreed, and then of course the medical. But will it be anything anytime soon? I'm not too sure. But look, as soon as it is, we'll be live for it anyway. But like I said, make sure you are hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button as well. Thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's show. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, the video will be up tomorrow. We're going to talk about Ekitike a bit more in depth. I think it's going to be out tomorrow. But yeah, make sure you are staying tuned to the YouTube community tab, and of course us on Twitter. And if you're not following us on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, then of course the Cop Council over on Twitter. Anyway, but until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you guys later on. Ta-ra.